Eid Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters. I hope you're enjoying the holiday. Welcome. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians to remain patriotic citizens and continue to have faith in his government in its bid to lead the country to greatness. This was the message of the president as he attended the Eid al-Fitr prayers at the Dodan Barracks, Lagos. State House correspondent Musbahuddin Wahab reports.
30 days of religious obligations and supplications in the month of Ramadan end with Eid prayers. President Bola Tinubu, who severally implored Nigerians to protect the dignity of the country, would continue here. But coming first was the two-standing prayer led by the chief imam of Lagos State, Sheikh Suleiman Oluwatoyin Abunola. The sermon of a chief imam coincidentally reflected the position of a president as he urged Nigerians to shun all acts of violence, ensure peaceful coexistence, and continue to have faith in the country. He challenged those in leadership positions to remain faithful to their oath of office and work towards alleviating the plight of the less privileged. Familiar faces and other faithful had the privilege of presidential handshake. And the president wants Muslims and indeed all Nigerians to maintain spirits of patriotism and be ready to play their role in the Project Nigeria.
The kind of resilience, sacrifice, endurance that we have, we should preserve that for the country. Be kind and be cheerful giver. Love our country better than any other country. That's the only one that we have. And we must continue to protect the integrity of our government and leadership.
And from the stable of renewed hope are assurances that this agenda would not fail Nigerians.
Renewed hope is alive, well and fine, and Nigerians will continue to be very hopeful. Without hope, there's no salvation. Without hope, there's no development. Without hope, there's no life.
Earlier were prayers for God's guidance, wisdom and protection for the presidents, Lagos State, as well as peace and stability of the country. In Lagos, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Well, President Tinubu also felicitates with the Muslim Ummah at the Eid al-Fitr, an auspicious occasion that signifies the end of Ramadan and a hallowed season which reflects total submission to Almighty Allah and to His command of sacrifice and service to mankind. In a statement, the President praised that the prayers and sacrifices of the Muslim faithful at this period will receive the fitting rewards from Allah. The President emphasized this during iftar with some Nigerian leaders. He also appeals to all citizens to rededicate themselves to the noble duty of building the nation. Also, Vice President Kashim Shettima was among Muslims that observed the Eid al-Fitr prayer at the Ramat Square in Maiduguri, Borno State, to mark the end of the Ramadan fast. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the Vice President was also hosted to a dabar at the Shehu of Borno Palace, all part of the celebration.
Shatima Mamman Saleh, the Imam Idiani of Borno, led the 2 rakat prayers. The Imam, during his sermon, reiterated the need for more prayers for the peace and unity of the nation.
Pray for peace, social harmony, and development of our dear nation. That's our prayer and that's our best wish.
A colorful daba was organized by the Borno Emirate, with the Shehu of Borno leading. Vice President Kashim Shatima was later hosted at Government House Maiduguri by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum. Governor Zulum enjoined people of the state to be patient with the current challenges, as government is doing everything possible to address them. People were seen on the streets of Maiduguri celebrating the festive period, signifying the return of peace in the state. From Maiduguri, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
All right, let's find out what is happening in Sokoto. How they celebrating. Nana Mamudu is set to tell us all about that from Sokoto. Wait to join Nana in Sokoto. We'll just continue with the festivities. We're getting more messages, and Niger's First Lady is among those sending messages. Oluremi Tinubu, she rejoices with the Muslim Ummah in Nigeria on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr, marking the completion of the holy month of Ramadan. In a message, she enjoins Muslims to sustain the good deeds exhibited during the holy month, which was a period of reformation and teachings on selflessness and godliness. The First Lady says lessons learned during the month of fasting should not be eroded on the altar of celebration, urging them to be modest and continue to extend love to others beyond the month of Ramadan. She added that priority should be given to praying for the nation, while commending the women folk for their sacrifices and care for the home front during the holy month. The First Lady is convinced that their sacrifices will be rewarded by Almighty Allah. Similarly, Minister of Defense Muhammad Badaru Abubakar felicitates with the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Muslim faithful and the entire nation as the world marks the completion of the Ramadan fast. In a statement, the minister extends heartfelt wishes of peace, blessings and spiritual upliftment to all Muslims and commends members of the armed forces for their professional competence for the attainment of national security. The People's Democratic Party has also congratulated Nigerians, especially the Muslim Ummah, on the Eid al-Fitr celebration, urging them to allow the virtues, values and lessons observed, inculcated and imbibed during the holy Ramadan month to guide their everyday lives. The party also called on all good-spirited Nigerians and organizations to use the occasion to further extend the hands of love to the less privileged, the dislocated and the hurting, so that the joy of Eid al-Fitr can reach all. Also, the Director General, National Orientation Agency, Malam Lanre Isa Onilu, has urged Nigerians to pray for the peace of Nigeria and imbibe the virtues of selflessness, patriotism, sacrifice, and good neighborliness towards all. He describes Eid al-Fitr as an opportunity to demonstrate and entrench the virtues of patience, self-control, and sobriety taught during Ramadan. Well, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, was among thousands of Muslim faithful that observed the 2 rakat obligatory prayers in Kaduna. The minister appealed to Nigerians to remain united in pursuing peace and stability in the country. Salihu Gwanara reports.
To the Muslim faithful, including the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, fasting for 30 days and observing the spiritual obligation is an opportunity to sustain prayer for the country.
We pray for our leader, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the giant strides he is taking to reposition Nigeria to be among the best in the world. And like the Imam said, all of us Muslims and Christians alike have a duty to be sure that Nigeria stays in peace, Nigeria stays in unity, and we look forward to the progress of this country.
Chief Imam of Yahya Road Jumat Mosque, Mohammed Khalid Ilyas, led the congregation at the Capital School Eid Praying Ground to crown the spiritual exercise with the 2 Rakat obligatory prayers. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. His sermon thereafter re-emphasized the need for Muslims to uphold and practice the virtues of the month of Ramadan.
Over the years, we all know that there has been a gradual erosion of our values. And consistent with what the Imam said here, all of us have to come together to reclaim those values. Some of the reforms that the President is already taking, we're already beginning to see some of those fruits. Our economy is getting repositioned. The foreign exchange market is stabilizing. Agriculture is being repositioned so that we will have food security for our people. And indeed, the security situation of the country is also getting improved gradually. We condemn all the dastardly acts that the terrorists have been inflicting on this country, and we do hope that they will also draw from the lessons of Ramadan to ensure that Nigeria stays in peace.
For the minister, beyond the spiritual benefits, it is also a period of reunion with family, friends, and well-wishers. In Kaduna, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Former President Muhammadu Buhari joined thousands of other worshippers to observe the Eid al-Fitr prayer at the Daura Central Eid Praying Ground. Let's hear from our correspondent, Hussaini Suleiman.
The first Eid al-Fitr observed by the former President Muhammadu Buhari after the completion of his presidential duties. The former president was in amidst hundreds of worshippers at Daura Central Eid Ground. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. After the 2 Rak'at congregational prayer, Sheikh Safianu Yusuf Dansangwe stressed the importance of giving out Zakat al-Fitr, assisting the needy, as well as observing the 6 days fasting within the Islamic month of Shawwal. Emir of Daura, Umar Farooq Umar, and the former President Muhammadu Buhari call on Nigerians to embrace unity and respect to the leadership at all levels.
Well, Nigerians, I advise that they should continue to support the leadership. We hope that whoever has the opportunity to serve can go back home and live peacefully.
At the Locust Eid ground, Imam Hassan Yusuf called on Muslim Ummah to remain vigilant while continuing with prayers for the end of insecurity in some part of the country. The Salah is celebrated with a colorful horse riding by the Emir of Daura. In Daura, Hussein Suleiman, NTA News.
There is no doubt that the past 30 days has been quite fulfilling for Muslims who engage in religious obligations of the holy month of Ramadan. Well, as Muslims in Nigeria today join the rest of the world to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr, the question which readily comes to mind is, what next after Ramadan? Well, in this report, Yemisi Ajagun samples the opinion of some faithful on the way forward.
After the successful completion of Ramadan, Muslims the world over are in a joyous period of festivity and appreciation to Allah for the successful end of Ramadan. Here in Ibadan, Muslim faithful also converge on various Eid grounds to observe the Eid Fitr prayers.
So we shouldn't say because Ramadan is going, so all the good deeds that we've been doing during the Ramadan, we should not let it follow Ramadan. No, we should let the good deeds, we should let them stay.
I don't even, not me. Somebody who close to me, I will not be happy that for him to go back into sin. Totally, by now, we are out of sin, we will never go back to sin. We set it aside, null and void, sucking out.
Yes, Ramadan may have come to an end, but the spirituality still continues.
The observance of Ramadan has not only brought about spiritual resilience, but also entrenched the virtues of empathy, unity, and self-discipline all through the month. The question now is, what is next after Ramadan. In Ibadan, Yemisi Ajagun, NTA News.
And Yemisi, I'm eager to hear what next from the person you're having there. Here, an Islamic scholar is there with you. We're joining Yemisi live right away in Ibadan. She wants to answer, more on the what next after the Ramadan. Yemisi, please go ahead.
Good afternoon and welcome to Ibadan. Presently, I'm at the residence of Professor Sabit Olagoke, an Islamic scholar, on this Eid celebration. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you have your seat, sir?
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Yes. The children can also come in with him. Good afternoon, sir. Please have your seat. This is the family of Professor Sabit Olagoke on this occasion of Eid celebration. Sir, now that the fasting has ended, what is your message for people? What is next after Ramadan? Beyond the eating and drinking, beyond the celebration now, what is next?
Ramadan itself is about socio-spiritual capacity building. And after coming out of Ramadan, the expectation is that one is must have decided to be good citizen of this particular Nigeria, to be very loyal to it, and to be responsible husband, responsible parent, and that at work we must be able to show that we have learned a lot of lessons during Ramadan, and that it has to reflect in our performances. It is the citizen or the citizens that constitute Nigeria, and if the citizens are well off in terms of social spiritual capacity building, then it means we will be able to collectively ensure that Nigeria is lifted up to the expectations, so that posterity will be able to judge if all of us are right. That is the essence of Ramadan itself. So all Muslim and Islamic adherents, I will appeal that after Ramadan, the expectations of God, the expectation of the society, very, very high on us. Muslims must be role models anywhere we find ourselves, in any facet of life. Even when we are outside the country, we must be good ambassadors.
So what is your advice for them now?
My advice is that when you go for capacity building training, the expectation is that you must be able to lift the system up. So we have the opportunity now, going through 30 days of rigorous abstinence from sins, abstinence from crimes, and determination of purpose to be very, very good citizen of this country. So my expectation now is that before the next Ramadan, let the whole world be able to appreciate Nigeria, that at least Nigerian citizens, apart from being resilient, we are very, very hardworking, and we are purposeful when it comes to nation building. That is the essence of this particular Ramadan.
Thank you, sir. So, for the children, can you tell me if you participated in the fast? Did you participate at all?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes. For how many days? Mohammed, please join us here. Mohammed told me that it was part of the fasting. Please, can you tell us, did you participate in the fast at all?
Yes.
For how many days?
30 days.
What was your experience like?
It was interesting.
It was interesting. In the next one, will you also participate?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So that is it from Ibadan here. We now link up with our studios in Abuja. Thank you.
Yemisi, thank you so much. It's a beautiful and large family I can see you're with. And please give a pat on the back for Mohammed for a well done, completion of the 30 days Ramadan fast. Thank you, Yemisi. All right, our correspondent there giving us insight. After Ramadan, what next? Love, sacrifice, and patriotism, of course, resonates. Let's take a break while you ponder on that. We're back shortly. Good to know you're there. Messages of love, serving God alone, and maintaining peaceful coexistence regardless of situations formed the focus of sermons delivered by Chief Imams Edmina, Bidda, and Katongura in Niger State to commemorate the end of this year's Ramadan fast. Niger State Governor Mohammed Umar Bago, former head of State General Abdusalami Abubakar, and Etsu Nupe Yahaya Abubakar were among notable Nigerians that prayed at the Eid ground. Dauda Mohammed reports.
After 30 days of Ramadan fast, the Muslim Ummah converge at various Eid prayer grounds to make supplications to Allah for the successful completion of the fast. The chief imams of Mina, Malam Isafari, that of Bidda, Sheikh Adamuya Khatun, and Kontogora Ilyas Abdul Malik, in their separate sermons, urge Muslims to reciprocate and sustain the virtues attained during the month of Ramadan in order to continue to attract Allah's bountiful mercies. While urging Nigerians to keep faith alive and persevere in the face of current economic realities, the clerics say, rather than pointing accusing fingers, all must close ranks to work for the progress of the country.
We are calling on all Muslims faithful to continue to imbibe the culture and the message of Ramadan. That means to be very selfless, to help their neighbors, to be God-fearing, to care for the needy.
I hope Nigerians will abide by the tenets of Islam and also be each other's keepers. And also, during this period, we see the maintenance of peace.
There are certain things we need to put in place, and that is consciousness to Almighty God, fear of God, truth and justice, to ourselves, to all our people. Unity among ourselves and unity in whatever we are doing.
Prayers were offered for the sustained peaceful coexistence of the country and for her socio-economic growth and development. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
And we join Dauda Mohammed live now to tell us the mood in Mina. Dauda, what is it like? How are you also celebrating?
Hello, Ruth. As you can imagine, despite that the weather says the weather will be 41 degrees in Mina, that people to come out to enjoy themselves after the Salah celebration that to the
poor signal there, Dauda. Poor signal. We apologize for the poor signal there, getting from our correspondent there, Dauda. We wanted to get the situation at Mina. But let's pick up from here. As Muslims the world over complete the 30 days of Ramadan fast, Tokme Alabi examines some of the lessons inherent.
From iftar to sahur, tafsir to tarawih prayers and itikaf or seclusion in the mosque to witness Laylatul Qadr or the Night of Majesty. Now, the 30 days of spiritual exercise are over and religious adherents are observing the feast of breaking the fast. What then are some of the lessons?
We have been in the school of Ramadan and the graduation is culminated at Eid al-Fitr. And all the lessons we learn in Ramadan, it marks the beginning of practicing that lesson.
Ramadan teaches us that we should have a kind of new relationship with our God, new relationship with ourselves, and new relationship with fellow human beings.
The continuity of all the good that we do during the Ramadan is the lesson for life, is the one that is impactful.
And he says, he promises abundance, he promises sufficiency.
As Muslims,
All right, that's the much we can give you from that. Of course, you know there are lessons to be learned. But unfortunately, the ancient city of Ilorin has been thrown into mourning since yesterday night, following the death of one of its prominent sons, Honorable Justice Ahmed Belgore, retired presiding judge, Court of Appeal, Ilorin Division. We now join our correspondent, Khadijat Akombi. She's at the family house at the moment, she wants to tell us about the whole procedures happening. That's actually the burial you can see from the screen, where the late justice has been buried at the moment. Can we get an ambience, please? That's the body of the late eminent jurist, being taken after the prayers to be buried. May Allah grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus. And today is still Salah, actually, and we want to learn, times like this, of course, every human must go through it. And there are lessons that Ramadan has presented to Muslims and even non-Muslims. So we have a guest in the studio to speak further on today's celebration, Eid al-Fitr. We have with us Ustaz Tamim Yusuf Al-Hassan, Deputy Imam, Muslim Community Center, Wuse here in Abuja. Thank you very much, Imam, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Can I say Eid Mubarak?
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Ramadan is over, and of course, we hear the lessons from different clerics. But let's hear from you. What are the lessons?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. The lessons are indeed very many, but not different from what we have already heard. However, to emphasize or to mention some of the ones that have not been mentioned, Ramadan is a kind of school through which a Muslim engage in so many training and courses which are expected to be maintained and improved up to the next Ramadan. Some of such lessons that we should always remember and be fresh in our memory and continue to maintain up to the next Ramadan when we renew those lessons is the lesson of sincerity. Every Muslim observes this fasting with a high level of sincerity, worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone without associating any partner unto him. Because if not for sincerity, someone who has everything at his disposal, let's say food, drinks, his spouse, and so on, but he stays away from them. This indicates a high level of sincerity of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by that Muslim. Because despite the fact that one may be isolated, maybe in his room or in one's office or whatever, one will not even think of eating or doing anything that has been forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a great lesson that we should apply in our own personal life and also extend it to the nation at large. That me as a Muslim, having undergone this training and course of being sincere to myself, between me and my Creator, I should also be so sincere between me and my nation so that it will be developed. Because it is lack of sincerity that makes so many of us to engage in things that will bring about downfall or backwardness to the nation. So,
all right, Ustaz, and part of the lessons, some clerics have come out to say is that selflessness. Yeah. And you can't be selfless if you don't give zakat, which is very significant, not just for Ramadan, even beyond. So tell us the importance of that.
Okay, so zakat can be explained in two perspectives. There is the compulsory one, which is annual in nature, that for those who have the means, they have the money or farm produce or livestock and so on. But the one observed today and 2 days before this day is known as Zakat al-Fitr, which is a quantity of food stuff being given to those who are in need by every head of family and on behalf of each member of one's family. A companion of the Prophet ﷺ, Abdullah ibn Abbas, reported that it was made compulsory by the Prophet ﷺ to be given on behalf of a head of a family and every member of one's family, whether young or old, whether male or female. It is just small quantity known as one sa'i, and it should be given from the predominant foodstuff that is being consumed in that area. Like for example, in Nigeria here or in Abuja, we eat rice, beans, corn, and so many. So one can give from each of these. It is very much welcome. And as I have mentioned, it should be given 2 days before Eid al-Fitr. This will enable someone who does not have to get to prepare well and also be comfortable that on Eid day, yes, I have something to eat, me and my family. So also on the Eid day, that is today, before going for Eid, one must make sure that he gives Zakat al-Fitr. That is counted as an acceptable Zakat according to the Prophet ﷺ. And whoever delays until after coming back from Eid, it is just an ordinary sadaqah. It will never be considered as a Zakatul Fitr. So,
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
conclude.
It should never be considered as a Zakatul Fitr. But Islam is that religion that has a principle that La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah does not impose a burden on an individual that it cannot bear. So, due to the situation in the country economically, so many woke up on Salah day with even nothing to eat.
I agree with you, Ustaz, because earlier I was at some IDP camps here in Abuja, and I could attest to what you just said. So if you're out there, you have so much, please go and remember them. But that aside, Sitta Shawwal is another 6 days of fasting. When is that expected to commence?
Sitta Shawwal, as it is known, Shawwal is one of the months of Islamic calendar. That is the 10th month of Islamic calendar. So today is the first day of Shawwal. So even tomorrow one can start his own Sitta Shawwal. Sitta Shawwal means 6-day fasting as a follow-up to Ramadan fast. It's very, very important. According to the Prophet ﷺ, he said that whosoever fasts the month of Ramadan, maybe 29 or 30 days as we have observed, and then make a follow-up with 6 days in Shawwal, will have a complete reward as if he spent the whole year observing fasting. That is why it is very, very much encouraged for us to observe. Right from tomorrow, one may start observing one Sitta Shawwal, and it may be observed sequentially one after the other up to the end of up to the 6th one, and one may decide to fast one, or after 2 days fast the second one, after a week, until one should not wait until the month runs out before he completes the fasting. So it should be observed within the month of Shawwal, but depending on one's choice.
Capacity.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are lessons, derived from that 6 days of fasting, right?
Of course, there are lessons as extension of
benefits rather.
Yeah, there are lessons and benefits, and the benefits of fasting are so many. There is health benefit of it, there is spiritual, there is social, there is, and so on, just as we learned in the month of Ramadan. It continues as the lessons. For example, if we say medically, though we fast for the sake of Allah spiritually, but you see, fasting improves one's health. Even medically, you see, doctors do advise some people, depending on ailment, to observe fasting. So fasting improves one's health, and also it creates a sense of concern on the welfare and also position of conditions of others. As we observe, for example, 30 days in Ramadan, there are so many people that they do not have reason to feel hungry, because they have everything at their disposal. They have money, they have food, they have drinks, they have everything. But Allah says, okay, observe Ramadan fast. throughout 30 days. And then after the Ramadan, observe 6 days.
Okay.
So one will sit down and ponder and reflect. Is this what my brothers have been undergoing throughout the year? From morning to sunset with nothing to eat? This will send a very important message to him that I need to help these people
Indeed.
who are less privileged. I need to extend my hand of fellowship to assist them and also to make them more comfortable. Perhaps Allah the Most High will also make me more comfortable, because the more you give, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. The more you enjoy the supplications from angels. Because according to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we were informed that ma min yawmin illa wa malakani yanzilan. Every day, on daily basis, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do send 2 angels. They have a simple assignment. One of them is saying, Allahumma ati munfiqan khalafan. Oh Allah, whoever is spending and to benefit others, whoever is giving out to help others, oh Allah, give him a better replacement than what he is spending. Then the other one is also praying, Allahumma ati mumsikan talafa. Oh Allah, whoever withholds, whoever does not give, he does not share, he is not concerned of the conditions of others, oh Allah, make him to record loss upon loss in his life. So this is a big lesson and a benefit that we derive and we enjoy from observing fasting and also extending help to others.
Indeed, Ustaz, we want to thank you for these lessons, you have, shared with us. Thank you very much for that. And I hope that Muslims, will learn, from these lessons during the month of Ramadan and even beyond by demonstrating the examples that have been set aside. Thank you very much, Ustaz Tamim Yusuf Al-Hassan, Deputy Imam, Muslim Community Center, Wuse here in Abuja.
Thank you
Mubarak once again.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, people of Katsina State have been called upon to pray vehemently towards complementing government efforts in the ongoing onslaught against banditry in the state. Governor Diko Umaru Rada made the call while speaking to newsmen after the Eid prayer at the Eid ground. Awal Haliru reports.
Hundreds of Muslims converged on the Eid ground at Batagrawa Low-Cost Housing Estate in Katsina for the prayers. Imam Adam Hussaini led the worshippers, including Governor Diko Rada and other top state government officials in the Eid prayers.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
The sermon for this year echoed messages of peace and unity in the state and the nation as a whole. In his sermon, the Imam admonished faithful to avoid sinful acts and promote peace among other citizens. Katsina State Governor Duko Umaru Rada, in his Salah message, called on people of the state to intensify prayers for an end to insecurity situation in parts of the state.
We have seen a lot of improvement in the area of security, of life and property in the state. And we are also seeking for continuous prayer for the people of Katsina State and their cooperation towards building the state and towards ending the menace of the insecurity in our state.
The Eid prayer provided a platform for the Muslim faithful to offer prayers for Katsina State and Nigeria as a whole. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
All right, we'll take another break. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you for staying tuned. Nigerian business magnate Aliko Dangote is calling on captains of industries to continue to partner the government for the betterment of the country and in the interest of the citizens. The entrepreneur, another business tycoon, Femi Otedola, and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State were part of the visitors who paid Salah homage at the Lagos residence of President Bola Tinubu. Dangote said the visit was an opportunity to also discourse about the state of the economy, as there is always the need for collaboration between the public and private sectors for the good of all Nigerians.
Well, my own short measure is for us to now actually partner with the government and make sure that we better the life of the citizens of the country, because it's like clapping. You can't clap with one hand. So both the entrepreneurs and the government, they need to clap together and make sure that it is in the best interest of everybody.
Commending government's efforts in checking the deterioration of naira value in the foreign exchange market, Aliko Dangote believes benefits of various efforts will continue to manifest in other sectors of the economy.
And I'm sure when the inflation figures are out for the next month, you see that there's quite a lot of improvement in the inflation rate. So step at a time, and I'm sure the government is working round the clock to make sure that things get much better, because it's in the interest of everybody for Nigerians to get things better.
In the spirit of how we have been during both the Lent and Ramadan, let's continue with that synergy of peace. Let's know that it's the only thing that can continue to strengthen and hold us as a nation. Let's continue to see that as a rallying point as people, and to say that indeed some of the challenges that we witnessed at the beginning of the year, we're beginning to see even some ease, even faster than we had expected. We're beginning to see some gradual ease, on economic pressure. We're not out completely yet, but we're beginning to see the ease of it. And we as leaders have to now even double up our efforts to do the work faster and quicker, so that the citizens can have that, ease that they all are craving for.
Well, business magnate Aliko Dangote is celebrating his birthday, and President Bola Tinubu extends his warm congratulations to the chairman of the Dangote Group as he celebrates his birthday. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ingelale. The president joins the family and friends of Dangote to celebrate the founder of the largest industrial conglomerate in West Africa and one of Africa's business lordstars. Referencing the many industrial feats of the business mogul, the president wishes him many more prosperous years in his endeavors in Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. We'll make a stop, and that will be Jos. Bilkisu Nuhu is standing by. Bilkisu, what is happening in Jos?
Good afternoon and welcome to Jos. As Muslims celebrate Eid al-Fitr, the chief imam of Jos, Sheikh Lawal Adam, is asking Nigerians to have faith in God and work towards economic prosperity of the nation. This is his Salah message at Ali Kazaure Eid Prayer Ground, Jos. Indiang and Abagyang has details.
Gathered here are Muslims who came in their numbers to offer supplications for the successful completion of Ramadan fast. The 2 Zakat prayer commenced soon after the arrival of the chief imam of Jos, Sheikh Lawal Adam. The chief imam expressed gratitude to Allah for giving them the strength to fulfill the religious obligation. He stressed the significance of harmony amongst the Muslim community and the peaceful coexistence of Muslims and non-Muslims, both of which are essential components for the country's progress and development. Sheikh Lawal Adam urged Muslims to follow Prophet Muhammad's example of kindness and generosity towards their neighbors. Some worshippers say Eid al-Fitr reminds believers to keep practicing the lessons they learned during Ramadan, urging Plateau people to demonstrate love and peace for the states to move forward.
Our message is always peace to the people. So we should try by all means to see that we live in peace with one another.
God who created us decided that we should be from different religion, different tribes, different color, so that we could be able to understand one another, so that we could be able to understand him fully. So the message is Plateau needs peace.
The clergyman then offered a special supplication for peace and development of the country. Similar prayers held in other parts of the state. In Jos, Indenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
Away from Salah celebrations, the committee inaugurated by Plateau State Government for the resettlement of internally displaced persons in their ancestral homes has swung into action by visiting some of the camps across the state. Ijoma Ozamina reports that Boko's local government was the committee's first port of call.
It will be recalled that Plateau State government set up a committee to ensure resettlement of internally displaced persons back to their communities in phases to enable them participate in this year's farming season. The visit of the committee is to confirm safety of the affected communities from the data gathered to facilitate the return of victims.
And part of the issues we're also looking out for also part of the amenities that they will require to stay comfortably. We're looking at their worship centers, we're looking at the water points, we're also looking out for clinics and their schools, anyone that is touched, so that a little renovation that will enhance their well-being. Government will also recommend to government to see how they can be able to fix those things quickly for these returnees to return back.
The communities applaud government for the efforts and appeal for deployment of more security personnel in the areas to forestall further displacement.
I'm very impressed with the effort that government is doing to bring our people back to their root.
Our prayer is that we need the government to help us to bring securities.
I'm happy that yes, the state government and the federal have taken a bold step to see that the displaced are resettled.
They express willingness to return to their ancestral homes. The assessment visit to IDP camps is going on simultaneously across the state. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. Is back to Ruth in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Belkisu. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, congratulates the Super Falcons for edging out South Africa and qualifying for the 2024 Olympics in Paris. In a letter she personally penned to celebrate the victory of the team, the First Lady says ending a 16-year Olympic jinx is no small feat. The letter quotes her saying, "Your perseverance and commitment have truly paid off. Your hard work, resilience and team spirit have brought glory to Nigeria and inspired countless young girls across the country to pursue their dreams fearlessly. I am so proud of all your achievements. Your journey doesn't end here. It is just the beginning of an even greater adventure." End of quote. She charges the team to make Nigeria proud and bring home the gold. That's the spirit of patriotism, right? And that's where we end Nationwide. Do enjoy the holidays. It's not over. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.